the Average AF. Um, Firstly, I'd like to say thanks for coming to the channel and to the website. I consider myself a mental health battler, so I've been fighting with myself for around 10 years, and for the first 8 of that, I was caught in the why me category. So, especially as I live a blessed life, good health, 4 beautiful daughters, loving wife, and a loving mother. So, over the last few years, I've changed my perception of fixing my mental health. Sorry, can we stop for a second? I strongly dislike the term hashtag mental health, as I believe it still ties itself to the old stigmas of being mental and only existing in the head, and therefore fixable in your head. So from here on out, we'll call this journey the Working on Wellness Factor. So WOW Factor, for short. As I believe there's 5 main elements to wellness, not just fixing the mind. So spiritual, physical, intellectual, financial, and emotional. They're the 5 things that I always try and categorize all of the main wellness things under. Now, let me just say that not a professional. This is just a single man living a horrid experience through anxiety and depression, and trying to find my way out at the other end. So as I've gone, I've learned a lot. So I like to try and make videos, now an app, and onto a website to share my journey, to hopefully encourage others to not feel alone, not feel crazy, and keep moving forward every day. So anyway, back to my story. So I realised in the past 2 years that poor levels of wellness actually played a huge part in everyone's lives due to its unique ability to affect them all in different ways. So poor levels of wellness can surface in people as headaches, unable to go to work from sickness, abusive nature, aggressive to others, retreat from socialising, no energy for physical health, poor hygiene, obesity, poor diets, substance abuse to calm the mind and relieve the symptoms. But worst of all, self-harm. So that's the one thing that everybody can agree that we don't want to see out of this. I mean, nobody's really that concerned around their friends putting on weight, or their friends not going to the gym, or their family not washing their hair all the time. That's never as much of a worry as it is maybe a personal inconvenience to be around those people. But self-harm is the one that we all definitely agree on. So once I got that through my stubborn head, I guess for me, I had to understand that everybody is suffering in one way or another. I realised that most people just didn't know that the overarching condition of poor wellness was affecting them, and how much it affects our day-to-day life. So most people treat the symptoms and then move on, and around the cycle goes. So they're feeling tired or bored, so we caffeinate ourselves to the gills. We're feeling lonely, sad, so we sugar ourselves for the rush. We're feeling lazy, feeling lazy and slobbish, so we drink beers to make ourselves feel a little bit better. So again, treating symptoms, not causes. So it's a dangerous cycle. So originally I wanted to start a fun sport-orientated app to got people outside with their family and friends, and just had fun doing what Aussies do best, competing with each other for shits and giggles. So, however, I realised that if that was my only focus, then I too would be part of the problem, because soon the attraction would wear off, it would fade out and leave people hungry for the next quick answer. So I started to look for ways for people to meet and talk to other people about the whole wow factor journey that we were on, instead of just one problem at a time, which can often feel overwhelming with so many little niggles in your life on a day-to-day basis. So like I said before, the categories were spiritual. So spiritual I sort of look at for more like meditation, yoga, it could be tarot reading if that's the kind of thing you're in. Just little things to sort of make sure that your body's sort of connected to the world around you, I guess is an easy way. Physical, well, that's obvious. That's where the app comes in. That's sort of making as much fun in short snippet versions of sports as we can to engage friends and communities. Intellectual is just understanding that we need to keep reading. We need to stop looking at fake news on social media. We need to stop being so scared of what is being fed to us every day. Every day we wake up to the media telling us that we're going to die instantly of something, that we're going to be alone and broke, and that the world's going to end from some radical thing caused by us, which makes it even worse because then we feel guilty for what we're doing on our own basis. So intellectual for me is educating yourself, moving forward in your life, not getting stuck in a rut. Financial, pretty simple. Take the time to actually get yourself out of debt, out of trouble, have a long-term plan, try and stick to it. Stop believing that credit cards are okay, that there's the bonus points are a reward for your spending, that 2-for-1 sales, other than my merchandise, are the reason why we should continue to consume at a rate that we've never seen before in this country or the world. And then throw it in a bin for hopefully recycling, so that we can pick it up the other end with a tax or something like that to save our oceans, because we are the people apparently that are also causing the world to have global warming and stuff. So emotional is basically what we try and do with the EAP sort of thing, so with the employment assistance programs through work. But if you don't have one through your workplace, obviously emotional is just chat groups, community engagement, clubs, friend meetings, any of those sorts of things, and obviously finding a way to express yourself through getting your feelings out, and that's the main thing. Talk about what's weighing you down, because a lot of the time it's not 1 ton of weight that just sits on top of you. It's usually a ton of straw. So the eventual weight is still the same, but you can't quite pick which piece of straw is going to be the one that sort of finally breaks you. So it's about emotionally making sure that you offload those sorts of things. So and if history's the reason we went for the average AF was because it's a bit of a piss take play on words, because the world likes to make you average AF, or makes you realise that you're average AF one way or the other. But inside of the app you'll see that the average AF lets you choose what F you are, because we like to focus on being average, because the social media will have you visit the social media pages. They'll tell you every day that you're not good enough, that you should have no wrinkles at 60, try a cream. You should have abs at 50, try a pill. You should always be happy. You should never be sad. You get a headache, don't drink water, take a tablet. It's all those sorts of things that are just driving the world insane, and it's constantly in our face all the time. So it's basically someone walking around in your ear, as you'll see in some of the blogs that I've got in here. Basically someone walking around in your ear all the time yelling at you that you are not good enough, and little wonder why we're anxious and depressed. So I grew up in small towns in central Queensland that have ridden the highs and lows of coal price dependency over the last 40 years. So mining, rosters, camps, and often had a massive negative impact on local townships, businesses, facilities over the years. So it's staggering to see the number of empty shops and houses around a lot of these once vibrant communities and towns, let alone the skyrocketing numbers of suicide rates in the transient mining workforce. So I'm thinking of what I've read, the studies are saying that 18 to 44-year-olds are the highest. It's the second highest killer of men in that age group at the moment is suicide. And boy oh boy, what a terrible waste for something that is and should be preventable, if not by yourself, by your groups around you, your families and your friends. So this site hopefully encourages people to use local sporting clubs, facilities, and support the businesses that help them work on wellness. In return, people give the tools. Give people the tools to build on what we know as the Average AF platform, where we encourage people to embrace and be happy with all things average. before looking to better it. So for me, the word best is a deceptive one. It implies the best is on top, and that's where you stop. I believe better is the strength to focus on. So a gym junkie doesn't press their best and then never come back to the gym. Why would they? Would they give up, never come back? They've lifted the most weight they ever could. No. So they would set that as their new bar, and then they would come back next week to better it. So a golfer doesn't have their best subpar round, sell his clubs, live out their days talking of the score that they never tried to better. So this is why the Average AF app is important to me, and the vision. It promotes people to never give up chasing the better, which is inherently what people are doing as we get older and our bodies start to break down. We stop chasing. We judge our best based on a different time in our life cycle, and we pound ourselves over losing that ability. So we get quite down and dark about what we used to be able to do and just stop focusing on what we currently can do. So, we measure ourselves against our old self rather than the people at our own age. People are out there with disabilities, people are out there with diseases, people are out there with situations that don't allow them to have enough money to do anything. People in war-torn countries, all those things that we should be comparing what our life's capability is on today, not what we were able to do yesterday. So chasing our better for today is part of the app. That's what we're aiming for. So I guess the only thing I haven't touched on is the why, and if you happen to be one of the couple of hundreds of people I went to school with and you got this far through the video without shutting the computer and anger, I'll explain. I'm a bully. I'm the worst kind, in fact. I'm the funny kind. So a physical bully is someone that no one likes, but usually no one else will challenge as well, giving the victim some hope that not everybody shares the bully's view. The funny kind is often supported with loud laughter, even though the very people laughing do not like the funny bully any more than the physical one. So the laughter allows them to continue the practice for much longer than it should. Am I regretful of this? Yes, I do wish myself or my family understood what made me become this. Yes. Yes, I definitely was, brought up in an environment that fueled that sort of untapped anger source inside of me. But am I ashamed of it? No. Because after 40 years of my life and in 7th year of struggling with my wellness, I discovered that even through a step family, I was basically at least a 3rd generation bully, because the home circumstances that led to me one had been passed down from adult to child at least 3 times in the short conversations that was having. So why? So I believe it was a family trait, that a state of misunderstood depression and anxiety that used alcohol to mask its effects and hurtful words to attack before being attacked as a defense mechanism was the real cause. So thankfully, the line of bullies will stop with me. I will not pass on the trait. I will understand what causes my pain, my anger, my defense mechanisms, and I will make sure that the conversation is had with my children and grandchildren long before it is an issue for them to repair. So, part of this journey for me is not only healing myself, it is definitely to let others know that, bullying's not okay, but it's one of those things that bullying is probably, again, the symptom, and that's what we're trying to fix at the moment. But the real cure is needed for the cause, which is, why are people bullies? That's the thing that was never understood with me. And like I said, being a physical bully, it's easy to dismiss, but being a funny bully, where I'm always happy to have one person upset in a room while 6 people are laughing loudly, has always made it. Will I ever change? Probably not. Have I toned it down? Yeah. Do people that know me understand that that's me? Absolutely. So, I have to be very careful when I'm around new people, because, I can quite often offend them if they've never been around a sarcastic, joking person like myself. So, awareness or self-awareness is the number one thing we can do as human beings to understand what it is that we're putting out into the world and what we expect to get back to it. And I think that's one big thing that a lot of people are not able to do at the moment, and that's be self-aware of what they bring to the table. So this is me airing my laundry for all to see. Judge me as you will. I've spent my life judging others. Time for me to have a little bit of it back. So, I was 40 when I learnt that my birth father was not only known and was alive, but he was actually never in my life due to his own family history of depression and alcohol abuse, something along those lines. Something that my mother had also now told me had been prevalent in her side of the family for at least the generations that she knew. I was like, Jesus Christ, why isn't this spoken about? How did I not know this long before I nearly worried myself crazy? Well, simple. These topics were not for table talk decades ago. So people bottle them up, push their way forward, grit the teeth, and have been too proud to ask for help, too Aussie to show weakness. So do I think this is weakness sitting in front of a camera and telling my story? Absolutely not. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to realise that the number one person that you can blame for everything that may have been wrong in your life is you, because you're the only one that can change the outcome of the decisions that you made based on the cards that you were dealt. Yes, other people have got their own blame in your journey, but that was for them to fix. And if they haven't, then you can't live the rest of your life poorly just because you've got an excuse. It still means you're living a shit life. It just means that you've got someone to blame it on, someone that you can't change. So here's me. This is mine, airing the family laundry as a show of good faith to all that have listened this far. So we've got to find the root of the problems. We've got to fix it holistically. We must talk the talk and walk the walk if we are to turn the tide on wellness. I genuinely believe that if we start supporting each other in small groups, so the app is designed to get people back to just their small groups, starting small, and through each small group we will make a large group without actually having to sort of think about how big a picture it is to get everybody back reunited. If we just focus on our 3 or 4 besties and family members, getting them back outside, getting them active, having a bit of fun, and I'm doing the same over here, someone else is doing the same over here, well, inadvertently we just started a community of 20 people with 6 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 6, whatever it is. Rather than thinking about the problem as so systemic that there is no hope and that we should wait for somebody else to fix it, because it ain't coming. The help is not on its way. There is too much money out there in social media, in advertising, and particularly pharmaceuticals, to trust the help that comes. At the end of the day, you want to be the person that fixes yourself, fixes your friends, and fixes your family, because they're the ones that you truly care about. Nobody in this world should care more about your friends and family than you do, and certainly nobody in this world should care more about you than yourself. So there's a popular Chinese proverb that said the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is now. Enjoy the site, enjoy the app, jump on and read my blogs. Like I said at the start, I'm not a professional. I don't intend to be a professional. I'm not trying to give you advice to follow like some sort of book. This is simply my self-help journey that I'm documenting in a hope that others might be able to draw some parallels for it, because when I was going through the worst time of my life and getting as close as you possibly can to thinking the worst thoughts, there wasn't much out there. I didn't know where to look. So basically this is what we're trying to do, is steer steer people in the direction of the professional. So as I build the website will just start having links and companies and businesses that fall under those 5 categories. And basically we try and rebalance ourselves, because if you focus all the energy on one of those categories, you will be Tiger Woods, good example. Greatest golfer in the world, loved by everybody, but still an alcoholic person who was caught cheating on his wife and now has all sorts of issues. Average. He's the best on this end and the worst on this end. So if you meet him in the middle, he's average AF, just like the rest of us. So the goal is to make sure that we focus on always being average AF, because that's what gives us our solidity in the middle. Build a strong platform and then slowly work on each of those categories, stretching yourself out to be better, not best, in each one of them, and live the life that's been played to you happily, because only you can change it. So hope you have fun. I hope we helped some people. I know we've certainly reached out and helped some people so far. So, and as usual with these videos, if you like and share, press the button, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more, and obviously send them through to support@averageaf.com. Any of your videos, any of your conversations that you want posted on this channel. Currently this channel only has all of the videos for video instructions for the game in the app, but we also intend to start filling it up with conversations around wellness, community, society, friends, and all the things that we need to do to get back on track as Australians and generally humans. Thanks very much.